I'm not doing like a JoJo Siwa intro. This is going to be a really short video while I move my laptop to the back room so I can work on something else that might be a surprise video for later because I'm procrastinating and doing my actual work, which involves me taking an exam because it's finals week and I'm still in graduate school. But I wanted to talk really quickly with my non-spoiler review while I'm moving shit out of the way in my hallway about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We have light. So, I got to see it today. I got to go to a screening of it that they were having at one of my local theaters down at the mall. And I took my mom, and it was phenomenal. It is the most beautiful movie I've seen in all of 2018. I, honest to God, have no problems with the movie. Like, that 100 that's on Rotten Tomatoes, even though Rotten Tomatoes really doesn't matter in the long scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, in terms of, like, opinions on film and shit like that, because it's an aggregate site. But nonetheless, it's well-deserved. It is, like, take your family, take your friends. It is, a lot of people are saying it's one of, if not the best Spider-Man movie they've had in years, and they're absolutely correct. I love Miles Morales. I've loved him since inception. I also have massive issues with Miles Morales as a character in terms of his writing. It's been really inconsistent, and he really kind of lacks his own identity in terms of being a Spider-Man, aside from being half black and half Latino. But they won't tell you that unless you know about the character, and you know that his mom's fucking, like, what, Puerto Rican, if I remember correctly. But yeah. This movie fleshes out Miles and really makes him his own, despite the fact that there are, like, 6 Spider people that I'm going to tell you about, that they show in the trailers. Yeah, despite the fact that I'm trying to find my trash can. Despite the fact that those are the ones that we see, they do not overshadow his presence, really. And at the end of it all, and I literally do mean at the end as well, it is a Miles Morales movie. It still is very centric on him and his journey into becoming Miles Morales Spider-Man. So, writing, good. They got a lot of celebrities to do these voices, and usually can be a little iffy, because I do consider voice actors a type of acting, especially because I'm a re-beginner at the game again. I haven't done it in a long time, and now I'm getting casted in some cool projects I'm working on my own, if you saw my teaser that I posted the other day. But yeah, like the acting is actually really, really good. They were really well directed. The writing is really good. The things they take from, there's a lot of callbacks. There are so many Easter eggs. So many, I actually don't think I saw all of them. Just because it's really blink and you miss it. But they're all really cool. Of course, stay through the credits. If you leave the credits in a movie in 2018, we've been at this for over a decade now, you just must have an emergency or something. Something more important must have been going on in your life that you couldn't stick around for about 5 minutes to miss something. And the post-credits scene, it brings up something that I've wanted Sony to do with Spider-Man for, I'd say, since I was at Hybrid. So a good 4 or 5 years. But it's also really fun and really nice, and it's just a great film, great family film. Take your kids, you'll have an amazing time. Does a great job with Miles. It kind of alludes to some things while I switch arms. It alludes to some other things from comics that fans will recognize, like people that know the character and know the comics history. Also, props to all of the comic creators that are getting referenced with their characters in this. Like, you don't think about it because you mostly think about Peter Parker as the main Spider-Man. But the fact of the matter is, the spider people that they show in this movie are not just creations of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and Stan has a cameo, and with it being so close to his death still, it's still a little bit raw, even though it's been like a month. It's still open wound, but Stan is the man, and he will always be the man. And he says something to Miles, which it's tongue in cheek and like in situation, in context, it has like, it actually has a joke that pays off from it, but it's also like a really nice message. But like all the writers, like you got Robbie Rodriguez and Jason Latour, Brian Michael Bendis, like all the writers and artists like have their little There are little sprinkles in there. But when you think about it, these Spider characters, these aren't all just Stan Lee. They're influenced by Stan Lee, but they're not like Miles is a Bendis character. Gerard Way, my man Gerard Way from MCR. Yeah, Penny Parker. The fact that, who I think is infinitely more interesting than Gwen Stacy as Spider-Woman will ever be. Sorry, but that's just my opinion. But yeah, she's in there. Jason Latour and, Spider-Gwen. Then we got Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Man Ham because you see him in the trailer. But I have so many thoughts about it. And I need to talk to somebody about it, so definitely sound off in the comments below if you've seen it, or if you're watching this after you see it because it comes out in like a week. Like, absolutely tell me what you think about it, because I thought it was phenomenal. I want to buy it. I think I might actually see it again because I see Aquaman a little bit early next week. Thanks, Amazon. So I'm gonna see that, and maybe I'll go back and watch it again, or maybe take my nephews or some shit like that. But it's so good, and there's so much to take in, and it's so beautiful and so well acted, and the writing is good, and I love it. I love this movie, and I do agree. It's probably the best Spider-Man movie that we have ever gotten. Far From Home has a lot of work to do if they want to beat this movie. And that's saying something, because it's Sony, which, as I'm doing this video, Venom is about 35 million short from eclipsing Homecoming, which should not be the case, but it is. That is the timeline we live in. Anyways, let me know what you think. Leave a comment if you like this video. I post content whenever I want. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. I'm gonna work on stuff and maybe a costume and homework and other things because it's winter and I have a life. Bye.